A lot of people emailed in trying to win tickets to see Cirque du Soleil's Totem, which is down at the Canadian Tire Center in the parking lot. They got the big tub up. We saw what goes into the makeup, into some of the performances, and then a huge aspect about Cirque du Soleil is the costumes and the way that they look, and the types of costumes for each of the different events. And so joining us, Totem head of wardrobe Amanda Balius. Great to have you here on the show. And I've been asking all of these questions. How do you get involved in a company like this from your background to say this is the type of company I want to be involved with when it comes to costumes?
For me, it was really the ingenuity and the creativity and just how far Cirque takes their costumes, because we aren't dealing with kind of human characters a lot of times in Cirque shows. We're dealing with these very fantastical characters. And where that leaves you to go is endless, and I really appreciate that.
You're there when they come off of the stage, and there are things that happen, but you were involved in also the process of creating some of these, knowing what was going into the development of the costumes so that they would work, or that it would go with the performance that the athlete needed them to do.
Right. So during the creation process, when the designer is working on it, of course, she has things that she wants it to look the same as the director of the show. And then we're kind of there to just give our feedback as to, from our experience on the tour and what that entails, to make sure that the artists are comfortable and get what they need at the same time that we meet both.
You know, some fabrics just aren't going to work with others. And you brought some really interesting ones for us. This one, I mean, there's so many details to it, but you're saying each of the mirrors, individually sewn in, everything that you're seeing here.
Yep, the mirrors are glued. We use a special type of glue to keep them in place, and then the Swarovski stones are all individually stitched in by hand. This costume alone takes about 60 hours to manufacture.
Oh gosh.
From beginning to end. So from getting the fabric, cutting it, adding all of the paillettes, all of the sequins, and then the stones.
This weighs about 8 pounds for the individual that's wearing it. And you probably have a couple of these for the show, just so that one's worn, one...
Right, we do a rotation with them, so also to help us maintain them as well, because the glue that we use for the mirrors does take 2 days to dry, and it can't be moved for 2 days, so it's helpful for us to have multiple ones that we can rotate in and out.
Oh, this is really cool. Okay, so this one looks more like that stretchy, is it?
Yeah, this one's a lycra-based costume with a technique that we use on top so that we actually get that wet look. It is a fish, so it's important that we have that wet look. And then just the sequins to add that idea of scales and that fish skin. And
every detail is thought through.
Yes.
It really is, that you want it to create and look like that character.
Yes.
Far one on that we're seeing?
This is our cosmonauts. They close our show. They represent man's desire to go to space and to see the heavens. They have 2 looks, actually, in one costume. They start out their number in black light. So certain parts of the costume are treated to absorb the black light and to reflect the black light, and so they show up much more than the rest of the colors. Then the full lights come up and we see this look. So it's almost like they get 2 costumes out of one.
That's really neat, and all based on lighting as to what they're going to pick up off of the colors. These are, I mean, we're looking at what they're wearing, but they've also got, you know, things on their head, on their face, and you've got to be very careful that it's going to stay in place for what they're doing.
Exactly. This is one of our unicycle headpieces. And for the unicycle act, they're on 7-foot tall unicycles kicking bowls on top of their heads. So it was important that their head be free, and that whatever decorations we wanted to do on the headpiece didn't interfere with their action. So that's why we have this look. And they also represent harvest and
That's
autumn.
Impressive that you can create that knowing that it's not going to interfere with whatever's going on.
There is testing done during the creation process. Something is made as a prototype, given to the artist to try. They try in training, make sure that it's okay, come back, and there's a whole process for it.
And then what was this for? I'm sorry,
this is our monkey mask.
Okay.
One of our monkeys in the show. We have quite a few. It is a full latex mask made to the artist's face, so that when they put it on, it's like another one of their faces on top, so it fits perfectly. You can see they don't have a lot of free space in this mask. They don't in their costume either, so they get very hot. But yeah, they're
in and out of this one as fast as they can. If they go on stage, they come off, and it's really neat.
Pretty much, but you can see the detail.
It's wonderful to see. There's so much work that goes on, from the lighting and the makeup to what the athletes are doing and to what they're wearing. So congratulations on this career. It seems really interesting. I know you're on the road. every year, and you've got 2 weeks of the year that you're not in show. So people have until August the 4th to be able to check out Totem, Cirque du Soleil's Totem, which is playing down at the Scotiabank, down at the Canadian Tire Centre and under the big top. You can't miss it if you're heading down the Queensway.